What is up, guys? My name is BobaTalks and welcome to a brand new Gotham Season 4 trailer breakdown. Now, this is for episode 11, the mid-season finale, titled When Queen Takes Night. Sorry, Queen Takes Night, but this is the trailer that you have all been waiting for. So before I get on with this trailer breakdown, let's first of all watch the trailer, which is a really awesome one, and I'm sure all of you know why.
Oh my god!
Good morning, Master Bruce. I do believe the party is well and truly over.
Thursday on the Gotham fall finale.
Penguin will be coming. It's time we show Gotham who we are.
Let's try it this way.
We'll slice some dice.
I'm not who you thought I was. You really think you can stop me?
The Gotham fall finale. Thursday on Fox.
Alright, so before I break down this trailer, guys, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you are new, and if you're already subscribed, be sure to leave a like on this video if you do go on to enjoy it. So the synopsis for this episode is as follows. Things get complicated for Gordon, Sofia, and Penguin when Carmine Falcone comes to town. Alfred tries to get through to Bruce once and for all, while Nigma struggles to gain control over the Riddler persona, and Tabitha attempts to make Grundy remember his past. Meanwhile, a familiar smile resurfaces in Gotham. Now, I'll get to the whole Jerome part of the trailer at the end. Obviously, there's quite a bit to talk about before that. But let's first talk about Bruce's cock-blocking face at the beginning of this trailer. That just made me laugh so much. Alfred really isn't taking any more of Bruce's shit. And to be honest, I don't think much of the audience is either, because all I've heard recently is, you know, I want to beat Bruce up for what he's doing to Alfred and stuff like that. And I've tried to sort of justify it, but if this story goes on for much longer, it's going to annoy me. But I think it won't, because this will be the turning point for Bruce, I believe, because it's got to end sooner or later, right? I think we were meant to get some Bruce and Alfred moments last episode, because the synopsis for that episode stated that, meanwhile, Alfred tries to pull Bruce out of his teenage angst and downward spiral, but no Bruce and Alfred last episode. Maybe they cut it out, maybe this synopsis is wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the synopsis for wherever you read about the synopsis for this episode, so maybe they just cut it out because there are too many other things to do, or maybe they just didn't want to shove Bruce and Alfred teenage angst down our faces much more than what they already have. But it really does look like they were trying to do the Bruce Wayne Playboy thing. Like, it's so evidently obvious from this trailer as well, and I guess behind the scenes all this time in the background, whilst we've been seeing other things like last episode where we saw no Bruce and Alfred. And I love just how hard this Alfred is. I actually do think this is my favorite Alfred. I've said this before, because even though I love Alfred in other iterations as well, this Alfred is, as we all know, like ex-military and everything like that, and fair enough, other Alfreds have been like that as well, but Sean Pertwee's Alfred, he's a hard bloke. Like, he is solid, as well as being very soft and nimble at the same time, and has the ability to melt your heart, because Alfred, there's some Alfred moments which I'm sure some of you are all aware that just like me, make me tear up. I think there was a moment where Bruce just said, like, you're just nothing but a butler to me, or something along those lines, and it just made me want to cry for him. But other times, he just doesn't give a shit. So at the beginning of this trailer, he just throws some water over Bruce, and it even gets to the point in the middle of the trailer where Bruce says, you really think you can stop me? And they get in a bit of fisticuffs. Now, that is a bit surprising, and it annoys me a little bit. I'm going to try and justify it one more time. Bruce is going through so much stuff. Think about how much he's gone through at his age already, seeing Alex killed. He feels guilty of that, and I think a lot of this outbursts, and it's not I think, they're obviously doing this for this reason, is that he's masking all of it, he's acting out. He's, at the end of the day, guys, he's only a teenager, so he's also fighting out against Alfred, and that is what is happening. But god damn it, if you lay one hand on Alfred successfully, I will take you out myself, Bruce. And as I've already said, I'll say it one more time, this better be the end of this storyline, and Bruce better pull his head out of his freaking ass and put the cowl back on, because this is getting a little bit tiresome if it continues past this mid-season finale. But let's talk about the whole Penguin side of the trailer now. Jim says, or Captain James Gordon says, Penguin will be coming. It's time that the GCPD show, I don't know, Gotham who we are, and that is very true. Ever since the GCPD has been under Jim's control, he has got a lot of shite done. Like, he really has, and we all know this is all foreshadowing of his commissionership. He is the best and only best cop in the whole of Gotham, to be honest, and he always has been, whether it's in the comics, and already that is shining through. And all of this moment between the Penguin and the GCPD, ever since the first episode where we learned about the crime licensing and Oswald and Jim were butting heads together, it's all coming up to this breaking point now. And I'm not necessarily talking about Sofia, even though she is involved in that. It primarily started between Jim and Oswald, because he went to go find Sofia to help him take down the Penguin. So it's going to be interesting to see how that finishes. But I suspect, guys, that it isn't going to end well for Oswald, because as we already know, he will most likely end up in Arkham Asylum. But I'll get to that feature or fact towards the end bit where we see Jerome in Arkham Asylum. Now, we don't see any of this play out in the trailer, but it says in the synopsis that Carmine Falcone comes to town. So I'm thinking that between this whole affair that goes on with Jim and, you know, Oswald and even Sofia to a degree, I think all of it's going to build up to a certain point where Falcone comes into town and he's just going to be like, right, you know, I'm tired of this. All these little kids compared to him, he's the old top dog, are squabbling around. And I think ultimately, I theorize, or maybe I predict, that the war will kind of end a little bit. Jim will kind of come out on top. I don't think necessarily Falcone's going to come back into town for a permanent stay, but I think Oswald is going to end up in Arkham Asylum, because I don't know how it's going to happen, whether the GCPD just chuck him in there because they're absolutely sick of him and they find out a way to do it yet again. I really hope there's a good reason behind it, rather than, Oswald, we've captured you, right, we're sending you to Arkham now. Like, I hope it's a bit more climactic, or rather than anticlimactic, where Carmine walks in, tells them all off, and then peace and order is restored to Gotham. I just can't see that happening. But I have to put it down to a sentence or two. There is going to be, you know, from the GCPD arming up, and then Oswald just honestly looking very, very, I don't know, it looks like he's losing his screws. Stuff is going to go down in this episode that has been building ever since episode 1 of season 4. Now, we can't forget about Professor Pig, and in this trailer, he's sporting his actual accent, actually what Laszlo sounds like. So that's going to be very interesting. This, I believe, might be his final episode, so we're going to have to wait and see there. I'm going to be very sad to see Michael Cerverus go. His story arc has been amazing. I've really enjoyed it, and it's actually going to be interesting to see where he winds up. Is he really going to end back in Arkham Asylum, or is he going to escape and end off in the wind somewhere? I'd love to know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below, as to what you think the ultimatum might be for Professor Pig for the time being. And I guess all that's left to talk about in the trailer side of things is we get to see our first proper live action look at Gotham Season 4's Jerome. Now, he is in Arkham Asylum and he is sporting that new haircut, so basically very short back and sides and a bit of length on the top. He looks pretty cool. I have to say, this is exactly how I thought his face would look like. Obviously, minus the staples, the scars have healed up fairly nicely, but at the end of the day, what we have to remember is this is his skin that kind of, you know, was dried out a bit, healed on top of his other skin, and the only original skin that remains on his face primarily is the bit around his eyes. Now, this was a wonderful tease. We honestly didn't get to see too much apart from a laugh, and that is evidently in Arkham, but from what we've seen from Robin Lord Taylor on set in Arkham clothes as well, I've got a feeling none of this is going to go well for the Penguin, and he's going to also end up in Arkham alongside Jerome, which will spark their partnership off, which the story will continue for that in the second half of Gotham Season 4, returning, I expect, January next year. But we'll get a little glimpse of that towards the very end of this episode, I think. So I can imagine, like, Penguin walking in Arkham. He might end up in his cell or this area where there's a bit of fencing off, and, you know, it might be a general kind of population area like what we saw with Professor Pig, where you could walk around with a few other inmates. And that is where Penguin sees Jerome, and we see Jerome kind of laughing here. He could be laughing directly in a response to what, I don't know, Penguin has said, but at the same time, this could just be the camera focusing on Jerome laughing and doing whatever to anyone. It doesn't really matter, as long as that we get the message that Penguin is in Arkham, but who else is alongside there, and who else is getting the focus out of all the inmates? Jerome. So that kind of would hint towards them possibly having some kind of relationship in the near future, which they will. But I am seriously excited to see this. Honestly, there's not too much else to say about this whole Jerome scene. It's just a tease. Cameron Monaghan as well has also taken a picture of the camera recording this very scene, but honestly, apart from that, there's not much else in a different difference of it. But guys, let's get some serious hype because the mid-season finale of Gotham Season 4 airs next week, and that will be it until I honestly assume January like last year, but I could be wrong. Normally Gotham is the first TV show to come back, but of course expect in the off-season plenty and plenty of videos from me, because I'm sure there will be lots of teasers from Cameron Monaghan himself, teasing his story arc coming up in second half of the season. There will be so much stuff to discuss, theory videos, news updates, so if you never want to miss out on that, guys, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that bell button, as that way you'll never miss out on a single video as soon as I upload it, and you'll be the first to know anything brand new. Other than that, guys, I would love to know all your thoughts, all your predictions, all your speculations, and your theories in the comment section down below. Now is the time to go wild, so I give you full permission to just go crazy in that comment section. If you want to stay a little bit more up to date with me personally, you can do so by following me on social media. The links are in the description below or appearing on the screen around here. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching this trailer breakdown. I probably will come out with the promo photos breakdown sometime next week for this episode before the episode airs, so be on the lookout for that. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.